G'day golfers. Ever found yourself redirecting blame and making excuses after having an absolute shocker on a golf course? I know that I have. Range was closed, I was a little cold, didn't warm up, I hit it in those 3 old divots. Then we have the podcast for you. We focus on how to fundamentally own your swing. Strike it pure and consistently shoot in the 70s. Be it if you're a weekend hack, retired and playing daily, a school phenom or a tour professional. We present and discuss facts and physics pertaining to golf, trying to keep our ego and opinion at bay. We dispel myths such as keep your head down, bend your knees, or my all-time favourite, game improvement irons. So stop drinking that mythical Kool-Aid and have a sip of ours. I think you'll find it both inspiring and refreshing. I'm Scott Young, founder of Swing, PGA professional and ex-tour player. Welcome to Pivot the Path. G'day golfers and welcome to Pivot the Path. Hope this comes to you fine and well. Little cold here in NYC as again we have started the season. We had a lot of our golfers golf this weekend. Alas, it was 15 degrees when we got in the car, so we just got to make sure that that old sun pops through. Hope this comes to you in a warmer area than we are right now. This week in our improvement pivot point, we wanted to discuss how to actually practice like you're about to play golf. So getting more seriously into discussing how to practice here, what I do notice is a lot of our crew now that golf season for us here in New York City is starting to come a little more full circle. We believe obviously golf never stops. And as a swing brand, we're trying to change this Northeast New York City mentality that you hang the clubs up in Labor Day and start again at Easter. For us, it's 12 months of the year and we have foot to the gas the whole time. But as the season now, we're in March, starting to ramp up a little more. I've seen a lot more numbers trickle through our front door of those members who are like, oh, got to get back golfing. We're trying to change how they mentally perceive that. But we are trying to educate them on practice. And so we'll jump into that a little bit more, how to practice at our improvement pivot point. And before we do that, news from the fairways. We've had a huge week, actually. Quick shout out to our 2 lads, Pat and Jack, down at Navy Lacrosse before we get into golf. Navy played Boston University and Jack and Pat had a win. And Big JF had an interview on his victory, 3 goals, 3 assists. Jack, great interview, mate. You might have a future in telecasting. You interviewed very well. He's a striker or forward for Navy Lacrosse, and they beat Boston. They played very well. Team Young is heading down to see a game in about a month or so we can't wait. Never been to Annapolis, so that'll be good. So shout out Jack and all the other lads. Pat, younger brother, down at Navy. Stoked for you guys, playing well. All right, let's move on to some golf. So Corn Ferry, we had Justin Sue. What did Justin shoot this? He shot 23 under, shot a 5 under last round. Wins by 5 and gains a British Open spot too. So Justin, shout out to you, mate. That sounds fantastic. Lydia Ko just continues her dominance on LPGA. She's picked up right where she left off. So she has a win, the Singapore Open. 13 under, she has a win, so that's pretty damn solid. South African Open again. The South African little stretch of the DP2 is doing very well. Dylan Naidoo won in a playoff. He shot 14 under and 27-year-old first-time winner, so that's fantastic. Elvis Smiley didn't play the DP Tour, but he did play in the New Zealand Open. So a little shout out to my peeps back home. The Australasian Tour played the New Zealand Open. And Sammy Brazel, a dear mate of mine who I travel with, Sammy came tied 12th. So Sammy Brazel working with Johnny Novak. So that little team up, John Novak's my old sports psych and just a phenomenal individual. And Johnny coaches a lot of Olympic athletes, soccer, rugby players. And Sammy SMS to say that he's teamed up with Johnny Novak and Sam had a tied 12th. I'm not sure what points that gets you, Sammy, but I hope that gets you into some DP Tour events. And then PGA Tour, we had young Joe Highsmith, 7 under final round to win at 19 under there. little murmurs in the PGA Tour camp, and this is something that I've said for quite a while now. They're making the courses too easy, and Billy Horschel came out and said exactly that. The rough wasn't too thick and the course was playing too easily. Because what it does, it just opens up to the field for players who aren't great ball strikers and who don't hit the ball brilliantly. And not saying for 1 minute that that's Joe at all, but I've been saying that for a while, that the PGA Tour, just to get their scores up, which I think is incorrect. I actually think people want to see tougher scores win on the PGA Tour, but it does diminish the amount you got to golf your golf ball. So I'd like them to bump up their course prep, make it a little harder, and bring those scores down to, I think 6, 7, 8 unders is a damn good score to see someone win. British Open usually the case. Yeah, I mean, you still got to get the ball in the hole. I play with our girls and Colton. We go out and play a little 9-hole par 3, and it's been on and off. The podcast here does a holing one count for a little par 3. You still got to golf your golf ball. It doesn't, like a lot of times based on that par 3 and some comments that some of our community have. Oh, you know, this course is so short. Hey, you still got to golf your golf ball. So my point is, as golf is in a little bit of a strange little point right now, we're trying to grow the game and say, hey, America, get out golfing. To me personally, it doesn't matter whether you got a little par 3, a short 64 par, or a behemoth like Bethpage Black, where the Ryder Cup will be later this year. Golf is still golf. And so whilst I totally agree with Billy, and we've been saying that for months, you've still got to get the ball in the hole. And to that point, if I go out and play that little par 3 up at Fairfield, which I absolutely love, you're still going to golf your golf ball. So I try and just change my narrative. So if I'm playing that par 3 where it's only 9 par 3s, there's actually no par 4s. The longest par 3 is about 180. I'm trying to have a holing one on that particular day. And that's not a hooky kooky comment. I'm literally trying to have a holing one. So if you adjust what your parameters are and your goals are for the round, you'll do great. What do we have to do? We have to get back playing golf. What's our job here? Rosemary and I designed and built Swing to grow the game of golf. We're about to do the improvement pivot point, and I spent about 6 hours in the car yesterday and on Saturday. Unfortunately, I didn't get out and play this weekend, even though Saturday we had 60s. We were playing basketball. We had Hoop Fest, and we've got our girls playing basketball, and we were driving all over the damn countryside. And to that point, in the car with the little guy, we went from a birthday party to a basketball game, then to a different part of the state in a basketball game. And I said to Colt, hey, buddy, it's getting nice and warm. We can play golf. And then what we're trying to do is just sow the seed for our crew, our 3 girls and Colton, to enjoy and love their golf like I had. And it's very interesting because it is quite cultural. In America, you are brought up in the golf cart. That appears to be the hook to get you involved in the game of golf. Let's face it, we're trying to change that from our point of view, because playing in a golf cart's quite possibly the single worst thing you can do for your body and performance. It shuts down your hips. Won't get into it right now. But what we're trying to do with our family is actually instill the beauty and the love of the actual game and the art of playing golf, which kind of ties back to what James Niddies was saying. Another great Corn Ferry event, mate. I'm watching that Corn Ferry a lot more, and it's such a passionate week, as you so correctly described. But James said that a lot of the golfers he sees, being an ex-PGA Tour player, and I certainly agree with him, have lost the art of playing. And Colt last night, after he and I discussed that, we're starting to get some nice warm weather here in beautiful NYC, that he said, oh, Mum, this weekend would have been perfect if we just got to play golf. So we have brought up and instilled, and as Rosemary starts to dip her toe in playing herself, this love of the game and being able to test yourself, and you are in control of owning your swing. And we are trying to grow the game in this business and in this city, and that comes from an art and a love of playing golf. And so get out and play golf as certainly as we start to hopefully see a bit more warmer weather come in. So as a reminder for those who are just joining us, and welcome to Pivot the Path, we follow a group of 3 or 4 PGA Tour and PGA DP Tour guys, just to give you an idea of how fluctuating their scores are. Because we find that the PGA Tour have created this narrative that these guys have 10 under every time they play it. When in actual fact, you'll see that their scores fluctuate a lot. So Mingwoo Lee played well, tied 11th, 13 under, fantastic. Elvis Smiley, as we said, didn't play the DP Tour, but played the New Zealand Open. He came tied 8th, 18 under. Cam Davis and Tudes, they didn't play this week, and Cam Young missed the cut, but Cam Young shot 4 under for 2 rounds on the PGA Tour. So Cam seems to be Cam Young, local up here, this old man being the head pro, now retired at Sleepy Hollow. And the reason I love following Cam is he's I played with Cam, oh God, 9-10 years ago. Wonderful young man, yet to win on PGA Tour. He's come runner-up in majors and tour events, and he will win this year. He's just in a little bit of a funk right now, so we'll see what Cam does going forward. Which moves us to our improvement pivot point. So try saying that quickly 3 times at 15 degrees. And we're going to see how to actually take all the lovely work more seriously now from what we're doing and what I've been doing in the last couple of months, well, in the last 23 years, into how we practice. So why don't you buckle up and buck on board, and we'll go hit some balls. So improvement pivot point. I've just been driving with the girls yesterday for about 6 hours. We drove into the city for about an hour and 10 minutes. So I'm going to do some hip exercises. And what this is, we are proving that for most people, stretching is an absolute waste of time. Because in about 10 minutes, I'm going to resort back to where I am. And here's kind of proof of what we're doing here. So as I do a couple of hip flexor tilts, remember, all I'm doing here is learning and just posteriorly tilting my pelvis. I'm tucking my belt buckle up to the ceiling, down to the ground, all the while my chest remains really quiet, rib cage down. I'm tilting my hips. Why is that so important? I've just been in a car for the last an hour this morning at 6 a.m. in the morning here. It's about 15 degrees. When I'm in a car driving, my pelvis is anteriorly tilted, and I'm built with a very anteriorly tilted pelvis. Most athletic people are. Now, what do we know? And everything here at Swing, as you know, is high and tight on facts, and we're more thorough than most people in the industry. So when my pelvis is anteriorly tilted, my lead hip, you've got this big old femur, it's your thigh bone, it turns 90 degrees and the ball goes into the socket. And the socket's called the acetabulum. Now, I'm being built, thanks mum and dad, with phenomenal hip mobility, about 68 degrees. But when my pelvis tilts forward, remember, bucket of water out the front, this femoral head, this top of the hip joint goes into the front of the pelvis, and all of a sudden I lose mobility. So doing some posterior tilt exercises, tilting my belt buckle up and down, just enables my body to move. So I'm going to just do 4 or 5 of those. So after I've done those tilt exercises, remember we've got to get that pelvis tilting in a golf swing from down, bucket of water out the front. As I hit the golf ball, the bucket of water out the back. Velcro on, switch on. And there's so much talk about golf fitness right now, from John Daly's weighing in to Charlie Hull. Look, at the end of the day, we need 3 or 4 things to occur. We need the pelvis to go from an anterior position to a posterior position. That's influenced by your hip flexors. And what we're noticing is that hip flexors are environmentally challenged. From we've got in here cellists, doctors, anyone who bends, our draftsperson, our architects, school bus drivers, they have very tight hip flexors. So if your environment, my lacrosse guys, my hockey guys, Jack from Navy and Pat, you guys have to watch your left hip flexor because you're right hand high with your lacrosse. Your environment will influence how your pelvis tilts. How your hips can turn, femur, femoral head, acetabulum, how your ball goes into the socket, you got what you got. So we can't really change that, but we can influence your movement from how your pelvis moves. I've been in a car the last couple of days, so I'm going to warm those up a little bit. And then from there, glove logo on, outside the noodle, under the noodle, and a couple of rotations. I'm just getting to feel that motion. Even after 30 years of feeling like I'm doing the helicopter, I'm just going up and down the same line. We'll get into that a little later. All right, so what did we want to talk about today? So I'm fresh this morning, haven't hit a ball yet. What I'd like to discuss is instead of hitting the same shot the whole time, which we are noticing in our community is getting less and less because I'm so pedantic on this, what I'd like to instill is that you're never going to hit the same shot twice in a round of golf, therefore you shouldn't practice this way. And shout out to Johnny Novak, who used to say this to me 20 years ago, but I didn't hear him. I listened to what he was saying, but I didn't hear what he was saying. Once I get warmed up here, so my stock shot's basically inside 6, face kind of 3, which is a little subtle, soft draw. I'm going to hit a lot of different shots, and that's what we wanted to discuss. So after you have your warm-up, I'm going to hit about 2 or 3 shots and then go. Then I'm going to come from the inside 8, hit 2. So if my face is 2, my path is 8, that's going to draw. I'm going to come from the inside 10, face 1, that's going to hook. And what we're trying to do and how we differ to most in the industry here at Swing is that we understand that every ball flight has a math equation, and we can actually write it down. And then we've got to realize what the body needs to do to produce that ball flight. So first swing of the day, let's go something like inside 6, face 2, little soft draw. So I've come inside 1, face closed. Torso spun a little bit. My disassociation, how I can move my hips without my torso. It's going to take a while for me to warm up. A little quick as well. Okay, go through my pre-shot routine. All right, that's pretty damn good there. Inside 5, face 2, second swing of the day. And remember, this whole narrative, if you can't hit blades, is such bullshit. Blades gives you better feedback. So inside 5, face 2, we'll hit a couple of those. Oh, I always get a little quick, so I'm just going to slow way down here. All right, that's rock solid there. Inside 4, face 0.5, great job. So that's kind of my stock little draw. Now, I could go on hitting like inside 4, inside 5, face 1, 2. That's my stock draw, hitting 8 iron. How far are we flying that? 170 yards, about 150 meters. Here's what I'd love you guys to do, and girls. Once you start warming up inside 4, and this is why we know that unless you're actually playing with math data, and unless you're looking at how the ball interacts with the club face, so ours is all camera-based, unless you're looking at that impact, you're not really sure how you're actually striking the ball. But once you've got your stock little shot, now we can start to muck around with this. So I've just come inside 3.8, face 0.5 open, face less than path. Ball starts right of the target line and draws. I'm going to go straight to, let's go inside 10, face kind of 3-ish. Now I can't influence my alignment, and all I'm influencing is impact. So for us, it's outside the noodle, under the noodle, but I'm going to feel, and I'm a tennis nut, I'm going to feel like my shoulders face the umpire's chair at impact. That's just how my brain works. And what we do in here is we understand how each athlete feels and thinks, and then we relate the golf swing to that athlete. So Jack and Pat, our Navy boys playing lacrosse, they're going to feel like their shoulders face far post instead of near post to hit a hook. So I'm going to point my shoulders to the umpire's chair. At impact, that's the fill. Right square, splay left, slow down a little bit, hit it to the umpire. All right, so I just came inside 8, face 7. There's a soft little high draw. So I went inside 1, inside 3, inside 5. Now I'm inside 8. What I recommend for you guys out there, go straight to outside in. What we know is that if we give the brain what we're not meant to do, so swing is all about teaching your body how to move. That's all we are here. We tell people better than most, hey, you've got to tell your brain to what we call disassociate, hips before hands. Let's go to outside 1 here. Same pre-shot routine, target. Let's go outside 1. So there I've gone outside 2.5, face 2.5, and that's just a little pull. You've got to be able to treat your body like a machine. Sometimes I want to come from the inside, Sometimes I want to come from the outside. So from outside to, that's torso leading hips, feel. The actuality is my hips are still leading, but I just feel like I get my arms on top a little bit. I'm going to go straight back to my stock, inside 5, face 1. All right, there's inside point 2, face 2, so my face is a little open there. So I try to get inside 5, and I've only gone inside point 2. We're looking for inside 5, face about 2. All right, there's inside 5, face 4.8. Being able to hit the number produces the ball flight. And then after you hit the number a couple of times, what does it feel like? I fundamentally believe that you've got to use math to hit the ball flight and then create a feel. Most golf pros teach, what does that feel? I think that's incorrect. Because of gear effect, how the ball hits the face and interacts, we know that we're so precise in here. Learn to come inside 1, learn to come inside 3, learn to come inside 5, learn to come inside 10, then come outside 2, then come inside 5, and understand that every time you play golf, you're going to hit different golf shots, therefore you should practice that way, right? Just to finish, if I want to come inside 15 here, again, it's 6 in the morning, it's damn cold, but if you work on your game, remember how to own your swing is the work you put into your game off the golf course. We fundamentally know that's correct. So at 50 years of age, I can hit this thing inside 13. Let's go 13. Why would I want to hit inside 13? That's a big old high hook. There's inside 11.3, face 1. That ball is hooking all day long. Understand that ball flight is physics and geometry. Understand what the ball needs to do. Understand what the club needs to do as the club hits the ball. Understand what the body needs to do to interact the golf club with the ball the correct manner. So for me, inside 11 is crazy disassociation, which after I've been in the car all day yesterday and this morning, I've got to think about that a little bit. Will I ever need inside 11, face 1? No. But the fact that you can do it straight away and it's measured data, so we know it's perfect, means that I can take that shot. If I'm in the left trees and I've got to hit a hook onto the green, that's how to hit that. And then let's finish with 0-0, hardest shot in golf. This will be interesting. It's pretty early. Hardest shot in golf is 0-0. Let's see how we go. So because I've got crazy hip mobility, I actually feel like I'm leading with my torso, even though it won't be 0-0. Let's see how we go here. Oh, it's pretty close. So I've come outside 1, face 2. It's not bad. So I've come inside 13 to outside 1. The whole point of golf is teach your body how to deliver the club to the golf ball, and then feel will be created once you do that a couple of times. I say it again. The whole idea of golf and how you should practice is, sure, have 15, 20 minutes of some static technique, but then go straight into hitting different shots. I believe swing, and we've moved swing into, this is a place to train your mind how to teach your body what to do. Be able to come from the inside 11, be able to come from the inside 9, be able to come from the inside 1. Try and hit that miracle shot, 0-0. And then from there, change it up, because how you practice is how you play golf. Beauty golfers, look, thanks for listening, and remember, you can absolutely own your swing with the work you put into your game off the golf course, and certainly how you practice will influence how you play. Remember, the newsletter comes out Friday, and send it to all your mates. We're trying to change the manner in which we play. Get out and walk, don't play in a golf cart, and practice how you want to play, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.